Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Doujinshi, and welcome back to another episode of Hentai Reviews, the only series where we get back on track as many times as a very, very confused NASCAR driver. And if you don't understand that, congratulations. You don't live in America, where we have the dumbest sports that have the most hype you've ever seen in the world. Of which I don't watch any, because I'm a contradiction of a human being. Even if I am human. That was a dumb joke, but here we go. Today we're going to be reviewing episode 7 of Redo of a Healer, because I am legitimately interested in what's going on now, and I've pretty much dulled myself out. I've been reading the Invincible comics, which has reawoken that part of my body that is very, very, very steeled off towards intense gore, viscera, and everything that would be considered R-rated for the sake of R ratings. Alright, now that I'm back to my old tough self that just got done finishing Berserk, let's get down to the review. Done by our friends over at TNK, your friends right now. If you fuck up, you're not going to be my friends anymore. At 24 minutes and 6 seconds long, I feel like since they're all the same length, I can just cut that out, but also, like, that seems like an integral part. Like, what if there was one that's like 30 seconds longer? Like, I'd immediately know, so I feel like I have to say it. Whatever. This one has the same tags as the original ones because they're all the same, yada yada yada. And it starts off with the OP, which is actually a little bit of a change because I don't think I remember them just starting out with the opening itself. But as we get past that, we are immediately brought to where the last episode ended off, with, if you remember from the last episode, our good friend, having changed his face back to what it originally looks like, standing up as he's being called out because his entire tribe has been enslaved and said, hey, if you don't show up, we're going to start killing these people. And he stands up and he's like, alright, fucking bring it. I'm right here. I am the motherfucker. Do what you think you're going to do. He jumps down, lands in the middle of the pit, and then everybody's like, kill him! And he's like, fucking try. Alright, and I'm like, why do I like what's going on a little bit more? Because I really haven't liked you for a while, but you're starting to, like, show off some big dick energy, and it's really showing through. And it's a pretty long scene where it's him, like, taking a step forward, the guard being like, what the fuck? Why are you stepping forward? We said if you stepped forward, we would kill your people. And he's like, if you kill my people, then I'm gonna get revenge for you killing my people. If you kill more of my people, I'm going to get revenge more. So if I save them, then I save them, I get what I want, you live. If you kill them, then I get pissed off, and then you all die. Little bit of a switch up where you don't know who's gonna win, and I kind of like that part. He's giving off like that real I'm going to win. Not really I'm gonna win, but more like you're going to lose if you do anything that's happening in this moment. And I gotta respect him for it. I'm not the biggest fan of this show so far. I originally started it because this is a hentai review and it's on a site made for that sort of thing. But damn. He's put himself into an interesting situation, and I really like where he's going with it. It kind of goes down to the wire of them saying, like, send 4 people towards him, and they send 4 people towards him, and he does that, you know, the melee character who's way over-spec'd into melee, and then just decides to have no gear on because he's been around for too long, and he just goes around, heal, like Bruce Lee, way of the open hand, vibe checking people every time he gets his hands on them. They all pop up, and then they're like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. And he takes a few steps forward, they start killing off his people, and he's like, oh good, I get to get revenge on you guys. I was already getting revenge on a lot of people, so I might as well add like 1 or 4 more. In which case he takes a few more steps, some people like go after him, and he does the same thing, pop, up, immediate, and then it goes to right when he's about to like start like, hey, I'm gonna start fucking you guys up. Then the preacher guy who's in charge of the whole thing, I don't want to say preacher because he's a minister, the minister who's been doing this, says, activate the gate, and then this big rune goes over the entire stadium and starts locking people in place. Nice. Or it locks the entire thing in, and he's like, hey, you can't escape. And then Kiaru's like, hey, we knew you were gonna do this, so fuck you. Oh, so all the, like, the necklaces that the people are wearing is supposed to be, like, guarding them from what's going on? But it turns out he pulled a reverse Uno card out of his ass and just decided, hey, if you're wearing these things, then you die. And people start popping. Somebody who's good at music remixed me saying pop into something. If you're out there, please God, if you're out there, I want to see that. Just a little bit of homework for anybody who feels like doing it. You don't have to do it. But after each character starts popping around, then they're all like, oh shit, and they start taking these off, and he's over there with his new skin that he just acquired for not having to touch people, and he's just literally covered in blood. It is just crimson across the entire skin. For the animators and the people who colored in everything, this is probably the easiest day of their life. Nice. And then he's like, hey, I can still kill you guys. This isn't that tough. And then Freya, aka Frere, pops up in this big hologram, and she's like, hey, fucking quit it. She starts saying the whole thing like, it's Freya trying to pretend to be Flare, as she says shit like, it's really you guys, it's really the guards that are evil, it's really these guys that are the ones who are doing bad. And, Kiaru's perspective, she's essentially just giving them that, like, you guys are murderers, and assholes, and rapists, and all that sort of shit. And then the minister at the bottom is like, she's lying, that's a fake hologram, it ain't real. I call shenanigans. And she's like, can shenanigans have this voice? And she just starts making a noise out of her face that doesn't resonate with her actual voice. And then they're like, oh, that sounds familiar. And then she creates a fucking sun in the middle of the thing and dispels the whole big rune that was making everybody feel not so great, Mr. Stark, and then fucks up the whole sky with another sun below the actual sun. And they're like, oh shit, she's the only one that can do that, so it must actually be her. We're gonna take her side, and her side is that this guy isn't an asshole. So then Kiaru's like, hey, why are all my guys up there looking like they're not having a fun time? And then it cuts to the people who were enslaved and who were being killed off, that they were all actually poisoned the entire time. So they weren't even going to try to help them, even if he did surrender. They would all die regardless. So, after rallying all the guards, he does a little flash step, grabs one of the people that he thinks is the healthiest, or grabs the only person that he was able to help, and then teleports him back. And then they're like, wait, or the minister's like, wait, what the fuck is going on? I thought we were doing this whole thing. And all the people that were convinced that the guards were the bad guys naturally do what a riot is gonna do, and they viciously attack every one of them. And that did not take long wow. Oh, and then all of those guys are dead. Most of Kiaru's original village is dead, except for that one guy that he pulled out, because I'm pretty sure that was the only one that was going to survive. And then he kind of makes his way back. Yeah, he makes his way back to where the original guard, where the shopkeeper that he had done deals with a whole bunch of episodes ago. He hands the kid off to him, and the guy's like, I was a dick to you, and you saved my life, so, I'm really kind of I'm really kind of thankful that you're not going to murder me, but instead I just get to take care of this kid. Alright, I guess I'll just be a dad now. Now, he's like, this is gonna be like, this is a revenge story waiting to happen. This kid watched you just get a lot of people killed? Are you afraid that he's gonna murder you at some point? And then Kiara's like, hey, if he needs that motivation in life, then give it to him, I don't care. If I'm gonna die, then, like, that kid might as well be the one to do it. Alright, and the guy's like, wow, that's horrible, you should see a therapist. And then they hear about this city called, I wrote it down, the city called, Branica, which is essentially, like, the city of beasts from Critical Role, I don't know. It's like, where humans and devils get along, and they're like, hey, we're gonna head there because I have some things I want to do over there. And then he remembers the devil lady from the first episode that he, like, touched, exploded, took her Philosopher's Stone, and then reversed the entire timeline. That's what he's going there to do as he brings the main two along. He leaves the sword girl behind and takes his little wolf girl and Flare with him. And as they're heading off, it cuts back to Norn, Flare's little sister, who's a psychopath and apparently a lot smarter, and really, really into domination BDSM. I do not understand the appeal for it, but hey, it's at least minorly conceivable in my mind. And she's like, I'm gonna plan about what this guy's doing, even though I just figured out that my sister is actually alive. And then the guy that she's standing on is like, that's amazing, but I have a few tweaks. And she's like, the fuck you say? Puts her foot in his mouth. And he starts licking her foot. And this is one thing I wanted to bring up. I don't understand the fucking foot fetish. I don't. Not at all. This stuff right here, I fucking earned for being a master at this sort of stuff. At all the stuff that's in these books and the one down there, I have watched enough hentai to understand at least 99.9% of all of the tags that are down there. I have at least a varied amount of respect for each one of them. I don't understand the fucking foot fetish. Why is it a thing? Why is it you have to lick people's feet to get turned on? Because this guy just does it super easily. And the girl's like, I'm going to think about a few other things. Like, bitch, you should know that someone's licking your foot. It's weird, and it feels weird. I'm ticklish. If you do that, I'm going to kick you in the throat. Alright, my little rant aside. After that, her whole conspiracy BDSM / mix-up, it then cuts back over to the camping scene of where Kiaru and friends have sat down, and you immediately hear humping from the inside of the tent, in which case it leads to scene 1. Running from 20 minutes and 5 seconds in to 21 minutes and 55 seconds in, it is the only part that is not genuinely, it's one of the first scenes that one of these scenes that I've seen that's not horrible. Like, there's no pretense that would make it to where this is a bad thing. This is like, I want to say, dare I say, this is a good scene, even though it is the PG-13 form of sex, where you can see absolutely everything except for the things that are on the front of the body, below the belt. That's it. And I gotta say, it's not bad. Not bad overall. Oh, everybody seems to be enjoying themselves. Everybody seems to be having a good time. Nobody has ulterior motives during this. And I'd like to say, this is growth. This is growth, and I'm happy to see it. In which case, episode 7 ends right there. Overall, my overall score for this one is, I'm very interested now. Like, this isn't gonna be anywhere near my favorite series, but I am interested where the story is going, and I may have to continue. I'm definitely going to continue watching this. And yeah, that's as much as I can say. This was a good episode. It was kind of the moment where he stops being that psycho overpowered character to somebody who at least understands that he's strong and then shows off that he's strong rather than just being a dick like he's normally been doing. And yeah, I'd say that's a good jumping off point. The next episode that I will be doing is going to be the second episode of Black Bible, so anybody who wants to watch that is gonna have to wait another day. And then after that is the final episode of Kiss Hug. I believe there's only 2 of them. Yes, I'm going to be finishing a Queen Bee series. I dug my hole, and now I have to dig deeper. So, thank you all for being here. I'm so glad. We are currently at 61 subscribers, which is also more than I thought I'd ever get. And hopefully I can continue doing this and have that number grow. We're still on our way to 100, and I pray that one day we get there. There. Thank you, absolutely, everybody who's been here the entire time, and to everybody who's been here from day 1. I appreciate the hell out of you. Everybody who just got here, I appreciate the hell out of you too. Thank you for everything, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So, have a nice day, don't be a dick, there's too many of them, and wash your fucking hands. I have been the Doctor. Peace.